Welcome to Biz Wire. I'm Joseph Nordstrom in Beijing. China and South Korea wrapped up their sixth round of free trade talks on Thursday in South Korea's largest port city of Busan. Both sides said they narrowed their differences in many economic areas to move towards a bilateral free trade agreement, or FTA. The South Korean Trade Ministry said Thursday that with industrial goods, both sides came closer to an agreement on basic guidelines. The ministry said the two sides also narrowed different views over services, investment, and intellectual property rights. The ministry said the seventh round of talks will be held in China in the fall, with dates to be announced. A representative at the Ministry of Trade, Industry, and Energy said Monday that the first stage for the FTA could be finalized in September. The comments came after Chinese President Xi Jinping and South Korean President Park Geun-hye agreed at their summit last week to push for the completion of the bilateral FTA. The two leaders reconfirmed the goal of reaching a high-level and comprehensive free trade pact. To push for the comprehensive deal, both sides agreed to widen the areas that are open to negotiations, such as competition, transparency, and environmental protection standards. The formal negotiations for Sino-South Korean FTA were launched in May 2010. In addition, Seoul and Beijing are also seeking a trilateral free trade deal, which includes Japan. Well, negotiators came closer together on industrial goods. One area that remains controversial, at least in South Korea, is agricultural goods. On Tuesday, more than 3,000 farmers wearing red protest headbands marched outside the meeting and plan to continue rallying against the FTA on the following days. The protests came soon after both countries' leaders last week expressed hopes of expediting the talks, which could take another 2 to 3 years to conclude. Some economists say that liberalizing trade with China is expected to boost Korea's GDP by about 3% after a decade. But according to the Korea Institute for International Economic Policy, agriculture is expected to take a hit as farm production could fall about 15% in the same period. Another estimate predicts that if tariffs are halved, agriculture could lose some $2.4 billion a year. Park Jin-ho, CEO of the Delicious Haru, which imports and exports chicken products, isn't worried and is in fact excited about the potential of over 1 billion new customers. Park says many people in his country see the FTA with China as a great threat to Korean agriculture because they are worried that cheap Chinese products will dominate the Korean market. However, Park advises to look at the situation from a different perspective, as Korea will be granted a chance to enter the Chinese market of 1.35 billion people that he says is within 2 hours' distance. Farmers and industry experts in Korea, like those at the Samsung Economic Research Institute, recognize that Korea cannot compete with China on raw goods such as rice, garlic, and peppers, which are on average 6 times more expensive than in China. But experts also say what Korea lacks in price competitiveness, it can make up for in technological know-how. For Park of the Delicious Haru, much of the fear of doing business in China stems from hearsay and outdated information, and Koreans and Chinese have much to gain from expanding trade with one another. You're watching BizWire on the Blue Ocean Network. Stay tuned for more in Economic Insight.